People in the valley used to laugh at him, not because he was cruel, not because he was strange, but because to them he looked useless. While others rushed through life like they were being chased, he moved slowly. While others argued, he listened. While others fought the world, he seemed to let the world pass through him. His name was Shen, and the villagers called him the man who did nothing.
The wind was wrong that morning. Not strong, just sharp. It carried words too easily. Wei heard them before he reached the market. Don't buy Han's rice. There's sand in it. He mixes stones to make the sacks heavier. The rumor traveled faster than any cart. When Wei arrived at the storehouse, Han was already pacing. His sleeves were rolled high, his jaw was tight. His eyes looked like someone had spit in his tea. "A lie," Han hissed. "A cheap lie." Across the street, a new merchant's stall had appeared in the last week. Simple cloth, a neat sign, a smile too polite. Kai. He stood there selling the same rice, a little cheaper, watching the crowd thin from Han's door like water draining from a bowl. Han slammed his palm against a sack. "I have fed this village for years," he said, "and now a stranger throws one dirty sentence and everyone forgets my name." Wei swallowed. "What will you do?" he asked. Han's eyes flashed. "I'll deny it," he snapped. "I'll drag Kai into the square and make him swear. I'll call the elders. A calm voice cut through his storm. "Good," Shen said. Shen had arrived without anyone noticing. He stood at the doorway like he belonged to the air itself. A plain robe, a small kettle, a clay cup in one hand. Han turned fast. "Uncle Shen," he said, almost relieved, "tell them it's false." Shen stepped inside, quiet. He set his clay cup on the table. Then, without urgency, he pinched a bit of dust from the edge of the sack rope and let it fall into the tea. A few grains, a soft tick. Wei blinked. Han stared. Shen lifted the cup and swirled it once. The tea clouded. Not much, just enough to be seen. Shen looked at Han. "If I tell you my tea's dirty," Shen said, "will shouting make me drink it?" Han's mouth opened. No sound came. Shen nodded toward the cup. "Anger does not clarify," he said. "Only light does." Han's face tightened. "What are you doing?" he demanded. Shen didn't answer the demand. He answered the problem. He said something that made Wei's stomach drop. "Admit it." Han froze. The words landed like a slap. "What?" Han snapped. Shen repeated it, gentle as if assigning chores. "Admit the rumor," Shen said. "I did not say admit the sand." Han went still. That sentence hit harder than the first. Shen continued, calm, exact. "Who is speaking louder right now?" Shen asked. Han's fists clenched. "The rumor." "And every time you shout no," Shen said, "what do you teach the village to repeat?" Han blinked. Shen's voice stayed even. "You think denial kills a rumor," he said, "but denial is often its drum." He lifted the muddy cup slightly. "When the water is stirred," Shen said, "you don't win by arguing with the mud. You win by letting the mud settle, or by pouring it into something clear." Han stared at the cup. "You want me to pour tea?" he spat. Shen set the cup down. "I want you to pour truth," he said. Han's anger cracked into fear. "But what if they believe it's true?" he asked. Shen leaned forward slightly, as if the answer should be obvious. "Then you give them a test," Shen said, "not a speech." Han scoffed. "A test?" Shen nodded once. "A rumor is a spark," Shen said. "If you slap at it, you feed it air. If you put it under glass, it dies." Han's pride fought with his panic. "And what is this glass?" he demanded. Shen pointed at the sacks. "Open them," he said. Wei's eyes widened. In public? In front of everyone? Shen looked at Han as if the idea was simple work. "Write it," Shen said. "Hang it where everyone can read." Han swallowed. "Write what?" Shen spoke slowly so the words would survive the day. "People are saying there is sand in my rice." Han flinched. Shen didn't pause. "So we will open your sack here, in front of you. If you find sand or stone, you get your money back. And you get another sack for free. And I will apologize in the square." Wave felt the air go tight. Han stared like the floor had tilted. "A free sack?" Han said. "Are you trying to bankrupt me?" Shen shook his head. "No," he said. "I am trying to bankrupt the rumor." Han stepped forward, voice rising. "But if someone lies, if they plant sand?" Shen's reply was immediate. "Then you open it here," he said, "on this table, with their hands in sight. Truth doesn't fear being watched." Han's eyes flicked to the street. The market crowd was still there, hesitating, listening from a distance like animals testing if a trap is real. Across the road, Kai smiled faintly, like a man who already smelled victory. Han lowered his voice. "This is madness," he said. "This is admitting weakness." Shen's tone sharpened, not loud, just exact. "This is strength," Shen said, "because you are betting your reputation on reality." Then Shen added one more line, quiet, cruel, precise. "If your rice is clean," Shen said, "this guarantee is not a cost. It is a weapon." Han went still. He looked at Shen, then at the sacks, then at the empty doorway where customers used to be.
Finally, he exhaled, like stepping into cold water. "Fine," Han said. "Write it." They hung the sign within an hour. Wei watched villagers read it. At first, people laughed. Some shook their heads. One man muttered, "He's confessing." Kai's smile grew. Then an old woman stepped forward and tapped the line with her finger. "So I can see?" she asked. Han forced his voice steady. "Yes." "And if there's sand?" Han swallowed, then said it clearly because Shen told him to. "Refund," Han said. "Another sack, and I apologize publicly." The woman stared at him for a long moment. Then she nodded once, small, decisive. "I'll buy one sack," she said. She pushed her coins forward, then pointed at the knot. "Open it," she said. "I want to see." Han's hands were steady, but his face was not. He cut the rope, untied the mouth, poured the rice onto a clean cloth. White grains spilled like rain. No sand, no stone. The woman leaned close, sifted through it with 2 fingers, then smiled. "Clean," she said. People heard that word. Clean. And suddenly, the air changed. A man stepped up. "I want to try." Then another. Then another. Not because they trusted Han blindly, but because Shen had turned the rumor into a game the village could win with their own eyes, and because the game was tilted in the buyer's favor. People came expecting to find stone, not out of malice, out of hope. Because if the rice was clean, they simply went home with good rice. And if the rumor was true, they didn't just get justice, they got a prize. Refund plus another sack. It felt like gambling with no downside, a wager where loss had been removed. So the crowd didn't approach like a jury, they approached like players. And when every open sack revealed nothing but clean white grain, the rumor didn't just die, it became embarrassing to believe. Within minutes, Han's stall was surrounded. People weren't whispering anymore. They were watching. They were opening sacks. They were laughing in relief. They were telling their neighbors, "Come see. He opens it in front of you. If you find sand, you get another sack." Across the street, Kai's smile disappeared. He stepped closer, trying to listen. But the crowd wasn't looking at him. They were looking at the table, at the open sacks, at the proof. Kai tried to speak once. No one listened, because Shen had done something quiet and deadly to the rumor. He made it unprofitable to repeat. By midday, the rumor had died,
Not because everyone believed Han was perfect, but because everyone had seen the truth with their own hands. That evening, when the market finally thinned, Han sat on the storehouse step like a man who survived a flood. He stared at his stall. Empty, not from failure, from selling out. His voice came out low, almost stunned. "I sold every sack," Han said. "I sold more today than in a month." Wei looked at him, surprised. Han swallowed. "He tried to bury me," Han whispered, "and somehow I—" Shen rinsed the clay cup. The muddy tea was gone now. Only clear water remained. "Kai thought he was sending you an executioner. He didn't realize he was sending you free advertising." Han's face tightened. "So I should thank him?" he asked. Shen's eyes stayed calm. "No," Shen said. "You should understand him." Han frowned. Shen looked toward the road where Kai's stall still stood. "A rumor is a weapon, but it is also a sign." "A sign of what?" Han asked. Shen answered without looking away. "That you are worth aiming at," he said, "and that your enemy wants you to fight in fog." Han's voice dropped. "And I didn't," he said. Shen nodded once. "You didn't fight the man. You fought the darkness." He picked up the clay cup and held it out to Han. Han took it. He felt the warmth. He didn't speak for a long moment. Then Shen said the final line, soft but clean. "A rumor is not defeated by denial. It is defeated by a test. And the man who controls the test controls the story."
What Shen did wasn't a clever trick. It was modern business strategy, wearing ancient clothes. Because in business, the real fight is rarely about the product. It's about trust. And rumors are weapons designed to destroy trust faster than facts can repair it. So Shen didn't argue with the rumor. He changed the game. The first instinct in a scandal is to deny, hide, or fight. But denial doesn't kill a rumor. It feeds it. That's why in PR, this move has a name: stealing the thunder, acknowledging the concern publicly before it grows teeth in the dark. Shen made the rumor walk into the sunlight, not to confess, but to remove its mystery. Because a rumor is powerful only when people cannot verify it. Then Shen did something even sharper. He didn't just say, "Trust us." He said, "Bet against us." This is called risk reversal. In every purchase, the buyer feels risk. What if it's bad? What if I'm fooled? Shen removed that fear by making the risk profitable. If the customer finds sand, they win. If they find nothing, they still get rice. That turns hesitation into action. The crowd didn't buy because they suddenly believed Han. They bought because Shen made it feel like a no-lose game. Behavioral economics, incentives, and no-loss gambling. This is also why the villagers rushed forward. Humans are not purely rational. We are pulled by asymmetrical payoff, a small cost for a possible big reward with no obvious downside. Shen transformed a rumor into a lottery that couldn't hurt you. And when something feels like 3 upside, people move fast. Signaling theory, the proof that's expensive to fake. Anyone can say, "My rice is clean." That's a cheap signal. Lies can copy it easily. But offering double rice if sand appears? That's a costly signal. Only someone confident in the truth would dare to make that promise. So the guarantee didn't just calm the crowd. It proved Han's innocence through economics. The villagers trusted the math more than the mouth. Operations and quality management. Transparency beats argument. Notice something else. Shen didn't ask people to believe. He asked to observe. That's the deepest form of quality control. Visible process. The inspection happened in public. The procedure was clear. The result was repeatable. In modern terms, Shen turned a trust problem into a process problem, and then solved it with transparency. Strategy. When you can't win the story, change the frame. Kai's rumor was meant to force Han into defense, but defense is slow. Defense makes you look guilty. Shen refused that frame. Instead of Han versus the rumor, he made it the village versus the truth. That is strategy, not winning the argument, winning the frame. A final lesson from modern life. This isn't only business. It's relationships, workplace politics, online attacks. Sometimes you don't need to shout back. You need to do what Shen did. 1. Name the fear without admitting the crime. 2. Offer a clean test. 3. Let reality defend you. Because gossip grows in darkness, but truth likes daylight. And in the end, Shen didn't defeat the rumor with anger. He defeated it with a system. A simple one, a public one. A test no liar would ever dare to offer.